Hi, I'm Lana.
And I'm Sara.
And I'm Mark.
Mark!
Hi.
What are you doing here?
I don't know. I just kind of popped in. I saw something going on.
We're so happy that Mark's here.
Saw the lights on.
Welcome to our show. We have Mark Fratoni here.
From Wachusett Home Inspection. I think that was an intro.
Oh, that was about all you're going to get.
Okay. Yeah. I'm taking the cue. Yeah.
So in the 25 years I've been selling real estate, I can honestly say that Mark is the most fascinating home inspector I have ever come across.
Yeah.
Not only because of the wealth of knowledge you have, but the background you have in real estate and the self-development he continues to do for his craft.
That's a huge compliment. Thank you.
That's the
I
truth.
appreciate the observation.
Where are you going to begin, Mark?
Me? I figured maybe you guys have something on your mind.
You think we really
You want me to interrogate you too?
We're organic.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of how I figured this would roll.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
I love the
think
fact that you're a family man.
Yeah.
How do you balance your family life with your work?
Oh, super easy.
Well,
I
because
just
when
limit the amount of
I
work I
reach
do.
out to you, you're super busy.
It kind of looks that way.
I think you are.
So I only allow so many appointments.
But you can only because some of your home inspections last a long time because of the nature of the home or what's coming up or the consumer that's there that's asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
How do you balance it?
You're kind of like edging into like why I do one a day. I've always been a one a day guy, and it's not normal in this industry. I know a lot of people that do two, sometimes even three a day. When I tried that model, I didn't like it. It didn't feel right to me. Like you're at the first one and you got a guy with you who's like an engineer type, right? And they're asking like a lot of questions, reasonable questions, and they want answers to them. That takes longer. You don't get to control like what kind of client you have and what concerns they have. If it takes longer, it takes longer. But if you don't have the time in your schedule to do that, what gets sacrificed? Yeah. The client experience, I think, is what gets sacrificed, and the thoroughness of the inspection or something has to give. I was never comfortable with that. I got in the habit of doing one a day. I learned how to live within my means with that as my income and just kind of rolled with that. I like how it affected my life.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think most people are going to catch what you just said. Can you repeat that?
The living within your means part, because that's the part I
to
feel
not
like
sacrifice your quality of life.
Oh, I mean, dude, why go into business for yourself if you're going to work yourself to death?
Yeah.
Like I had a lot of bosses along the way that's what they expect. So that's how I was programmed.
Yeah.
But like, I just don't know why I would want to do that to myself and my family. Like just be a burnt out mess all the time. You know, I've tried it. I don't like it.
And your relationship with your family has been wonderful. You came in telling me how awesome you love being with your kids.
We're talking about the kids. Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
They're cool.
We talk about this all the time about the burnout. You have less and less burnout and more rewards throughout the day because you're with the people that you love.
Yeah.
Than worrying about this burnout. So you've already balanced it. When did you figure out the balance?
Pretty early on in this business, but it was like I've had 17 different jobs in my life. So I had a lot of different opportunities to kind of figure out what works for me and what doesn't. Mostly having a boss doesn't work for me. It's the most interesting by far. Like it's the most dynamic for me. Like
home inspections is dynamic.
It is. There's a lot going on. It requires a lot of focus. And it works for me because it fits with my type of ADD where I can hyper focus for a while. And then my brain's just kind of like, dude, I need a break. So it works for that because I can go for a few hours straight and just be in it. But then I kind of need a rest period. That's just how I work.
And there's probably a beauty for your brain style to be able to have a different environment every day and a different challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not going to the same monotonous office every single day.
Yeah, that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
this is so cool.
I don't know how people do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you go from like a house that needs a lot of looking at and attention. And you're like, whoa, I want this because I'm going to dissect this thing, to one that's like, yeah, okay, I'll go do this home inspection. It's going to be.
Yeah, some of those days are nice too. You know, what if I'm tired? You know,
No,
a simple
Then
house
you
might
hope
be
you get a nice new construction that doesn't have a lot of
That'd be
headaches.
great. Yeah. Some days you're hoping for that, you know? Kids didn't let you sleep.
Do you get a lot of callbacks from?
No.
Wait,
Luckily,
like
no,
a lot of
I would
realtors
say.
don't call you back and we're like, hey, you did a great job. I want you to service all my clients.
I should let you finish that question. Yeah. What did you mean by that?
I was on a different thing.
I know you were.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, just callbacks from the consumer.
That's what I thought you meant.
Yeah.
So I was answering the right question for the record.
Sorry. I'm a little feisty.
I get it. I'm a little jumpy. I jumped on the question. Not really. I think people call for advice. People call because they just are trying to remember something. Some people reach out for like service providers for fixing a problem that we talked about, but now they're knee deep in it and they're like, okay, how do I get help? Because I don't understand what I'm looking at. But no, I think generally speaking, I think you guys have both been there for like the driveway speech, how we start, right? Like you probably have a way of doing this in your business too, where you set expectations for like, here's how this is going to work. I think when you do that, it helps put people's mind in the right, like I want to find every problem with a house, but I know that's not realistic as much as I want to do it because somebody could have a 5-gallon bucket covering something.
Yeah, you can't control the environment you're walking into.
You're just not going to see everything. So like, I think people that are with you and have already gone through the spiel of like, here's what we're going to do, here's what we can't do. They kind of understand like, we're not Superman. We can't see through the walls. We can't like move people's personal property to look at one thing that might be there, but probably isn't.
What are the biggest ticket things that are coming up that you're seeing that you have to focus on? They don't have to be super big, but what do you see that a lot of consumers are really nervous about?
Right now that pyrotite stuff keeps coming up. It was just in conversation today. Yeah. Because we saw some abnormal cracking on a foundation. That's a tough one, man. Because it's terrifying for everybody. Like nobody wants to hear about that stuff. Crumbling foundations, like. And
do you have to recommend to them they have to go get the testing done?
Yeah. If we see abnormal cracking.
Yeah.
It's
the part that terrifies me is that, Lana and I have been doing this a long time. We might have sold a house 10, 15, 20 years ago and not have even
thought about it.
The foundation looks great. But then 20 years later, it could be something totally different. And then you think about all the houses that you've gone into and the basements are finished.
Right.
And you just can't see what's behind the walls. And maybe you can get a good idea from the outside walls, but you just never know.
Maybe.
You just don't know. This is like.
You think it's going to get to a point where it's going to be mandatory for testing?
No, because it's so invasive. Unless they find a better way to test for it. I mean, they're taking core samples out of foundations, like
I know.
Holes. I mean, like if I was a seller and somebody was just curious, nope.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. Like, unless there's a problem.
Well, not even knowing. I mean, it's the whole inspection part of it, the whole process of it.
Yeah, it's invasive.
Yeah.
And then, okay, maybe you guys have heard different. I'm not as up to date on this as I probably could be. But the last time that I read an engineering report from a test that I recommended take place, like we saw some cracks that were weird and they did the test and the seller allowed the buyer to do the test in the first place. It's not like they have to. And then they sent me the engineering report and I was trying to decipher it. It's an engineering report. It's not normal humans have trouble reading it, right?
You would throw it into ChatGPT and
now
she would tell you all the answers.
She would. She's great. I love her. I didn't have her at the time.
Okay.
Now I'm thinking I'm going to go back and do that. That's a really good idea. But there was a level of pyrotite detected. But there was no indication of how much is acceptable.
Well, that's what I mean.
So like how much is too much?
Right.
It didn't say that. And I don't know if they know that. So like if someone said, hey, can I test your foundation? And I'm like, well, what if it comes back with this much?
A smidgen.
And now what? Am I disclosing that going forward? Is my house stigmatized because it's got 0.01% of some mineral that shouldn't be there? But when does it cause a problem? I don't know that. Maybe I should know that. Maybe that's a thing.
And it might
I don't know
not
if you've heard of that being a thing.
It might not cause a problem for another 40 years, but I've also heard that the damper that things are, the quicker it might need to be addressed.
I think moisture is definitely a component.
Is it the cracks that you notice, or is it discoloration?
For me, it's cracks.
So when you see multiple amount of cracks,
It's the pattern.
Oh, so it's not these.
So the best description I've heard for crumbling concrete cracking is roadmap cracking. It's like, you know how you got your typical like vertical cracks? Okay. We see those on
settlement.
Every large concrete assembly. When they're just kind of meandering off and literally like if you zoomed out from a roadmap, they don't make sense. They don't follow a pattern of like where the stress is on the foundation. It doesn't make sense. When it doesn't compute.
Windows,
that's
corners,
when I start getting, those are normal.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like weak areas are where, like when concrete cures, it shrinks and it's going to relieve that stress somehow. And it will do it on the weak points and it will do it on large walls, floors. But man, when it's just going every which way for no particular reason, it's like, that's abnormal. That's not normal. So to me, but that's a visual indicator. Like it has to be doing it. So what if it's not doing it yet? Right?
Yeah,
like
that was
the
my
terrifying
thing.
part. So that's on people's minds. The normal stuff, roofs, like that's always a big one with people. But I don't think there's anything else like in the news right now, so to speak.
No, but do you see more like uptick on radon testing? Do you see?
I actually stopped doing radon testing.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm seeing a significant downtick.
Okay. If you're not doing it.
I had, and I know your reasoning for it, and I completely respect it, especially given the lifestyle that you want to have with your family, being self-employed. I had a home inspector on one of my listings drive all the way from West Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh my God.
To New Salem, Massachusetts this week to pick up a radon test. So he drove 2 hours for the inspection, drove 2 hours home from the inspection, and then drove another 4 hours round trip just to pick up the radon test one day.
You just described why I don't do radon testing anymore. The logistics are terrible. Terrible. You can't charge enough. Like you'd have to charge an obscene amount of money to make it worth it. And then I still felt like I could be using my time better than just driving to pick things up. Like you work your entire life to build a skill set and then you're driving a car to pick a thing up.
Yeah.
Like there's a better use of your time if that's where you're at in your life, right?
Yeah.
That's just how I felt about it. So like, yes, it was a profitable service, but I just felt like I could spend my time better somewhere else. Like I spent too much time driving an hour across the state on a day where it's like, oh man, I really should be doing this, but I can't because I got to go do this. And it's like, I don't know. It just wasn't worth it. When you also can't control the testing conditions when you're on the buyer side.
Nope.
I think you can only do short-term radon tests, 48-hour tests when you're in a real estate transaction. The better way to test for radon is a long-term test, but they take 91 days minimum. You can't do that in a real estate transaction. So like they're simple. People can do them themselves. And I don't know whose idea it was to make this part of a real estate transaction. Like the logistics are terrible. Like how many times do you go to pick up a radon test and the windows are all open?
Yeah. Well, not even that, the door's wide open and they're doing it. And then the difference of raining versus or windy or hailstorms versus a sunny day, you get 4 or 5. And like you said, it's such a short window that everyone's waiting. Oh, I can go pick it up 11:02. Now I can go close it up. It's like, really?
And in the grand scheme of repairs
of $1,200,
of under a $2,000 way to fix it,
Not
that shouldn't be a major component. I think radon in the water is something that doesn't get talked about enough in our industry or tested for enough. But the air quality, I think, is a relatively easy fix.
It usually is in most cases. And
interesting.
Where it's not a deal breaker, I felt like, so I'm actually considering another service and I'm looking for feedback on this. I was doing my continuing ed to maintain my license, and there was a vendor there who wants to sign up some inspectors for doing solar inspections. And we normally just don't do anything with solar. He asked every inspector in the room, like, who inspects solar? And literally nobody moved a muscle. We don't do it, but we're seeing more of it. So
what would be the inspection of a solar? Because if somebody owns it, that's one thing. You can inspect something that's owned because then the owner has to take care of it, maybe. But a lease?
So
wouldn't that be the company make sure that it's all set?
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that though. I think they just kind of wait for a complaint.
Yeah, they do, right. And no one knows what a complaint could be.
So that's what caught my attention. Is this guy was like, there's a way to see if it's working.
Oh.
Which there's not like a gauge sitting on the thing.
It's not like you hook up a multimeter.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complex than that, right? There is a meter involved, but these guys will calculate based off of, like, if I took an amperage reading off the thing, they're going to calculate based on where the sun is, how many panels there are, blah, 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 blah. I can send it to them and they'll kick me back a report and saying, here's what it should produce at 6 o'clock on a Friday. And here's what it is producing. And they can tell me whether the damn thing works or not.
I got to tell you, I definitely sell a lot of homes with solar on it. And I find some, and I'm going to say some, like few, are not interested in a house with solar.
Yes, I had that twice last year.
Few.
Didn't want to
I wouldn't
touch
say
it.
some. But I'll say the majority that do buy a house with solar, they have no idea. They just go, okay, it's going to save me what? I don't know. They don't know what it's going to save them. Does it save me no electric bill, but I have to pay a fee? Or is it saving me, but I'm paying back to somebody? Like there's no way, not enough knowledge. And I don't care what this agreement that comes to you to read, there's still no understanding of what is it doing for me. And the other piece is, if it stays on there for, let's say it's a lease, what happens afterwards? Nobody's answered that question. Yeah. I don't know. We got 10 more years left. Okay, so should I sell the house in 10 years? Like, what happens?
Well, we had lease solar on our house, and now they want to move it from our old house because it's not there anymore. It's on our garage, and they want to move it to our new house. And we don't want it at our new house.
Oh,
so there's this whole discussion we're having. So it's really interesting. I sold a house last year in Sunderland where it was on it and it was owned. But then we come to find out there were all these problems with it after the fact that we didn't know about because of the inspection.
With the solar?
With the solar. And then the sellers had to pay. It ended up being around $30,000 to get it removed, to get the roof fixed, because it was screwing up some other component of the electric.
Just to yank it off?
And fix the problems that were caused by it. So I think this is interesting, and it would be something kind of
I think it would be
navigate.
valuable, especially here in New England. I do think it's valuable because more and more and more people are talking about getting it. Because what I'm hearing from consumers, sellers, my electric bill is X amount, which is double than I've ever heard. And I'm like, well, how do you possibly have that in a small little house?
Right.
Because what's running?
My bill is not high. Mine hasn't changed in years.
Because you're never home, you work all the time.
That might have something to do with it.
Just kidding. Anyways, I do love working.
There's never a light on.
I love working. Call me. I'm working all the time.
True story.
But think about this. You know, they're doubling, if not even tripling sometimes, but I don't even know if there's enough information, but that would be pretty powerful for a new buyer to understand, is this doing anything? Or you know what, frankly, it's not doing much. So if it's not doing much, maybe they're focusing on other things. I don't know. Maybe they don't end up buying it because it's not saving them anything. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's something to...
I think it works on both the listing side and the buying side.
100%.
Because you could do it for, like, he actually had separate reports available for, I thought he did a good job as far as like who he's catering to.
Mm-hmm.
There was a certain report that was designed for listing agents. And I thought it was pretty effective because it kind of gave you a checklist to work off of, like what you should know and pass along to a buyer, what kind of contract it is. Like they actually understand the nuts and bolts, because the guy that started this company was a solar installer from 2 years into like the solar boom. He's been doing this a while. So he understands like how they're installed physically. He understands the contracts, the leases, the different types.
Yeah.
And he was breaking it down for us. And I immediately found a lot of gaps in my brain getting filled. Like I knew nothing about it, but I had picked up little pieces here and there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I didn't understand jack. I didn't realize like how little I knew about this. So it was kind of handy the way that they broke down like what everybody needs to know. And then also, does the darn thing work? Because I know some people have an app.
Or they do the Pearl, or they get a Pearl certification.
I'm not familiar with that.
So a seller, there's an environmental standard that can be met with solar, and there's a company that you can go, and prior to the sale, they can come in and they can rate your system. And it's very helpful in an appraisal process because it will help determine the value of that system current day for the appraiser.
If it's owned.
And if it's leased,
But
Still
there's
has
no
a value.
value with the lease.
there's a way to show value if you have a Pearl certificate.
So he had something like that too. He had a specific
Yeah.
appraisal report, but the Pearl thing I've never heard of.
Yes.
So did they do things? I'm sensing that's outside of just solar. Like a Pearl report covers things other than solar
It
too.
covers several different environmental factors of a home.
Okay. And who does that? I've never heard of this.
This company called Pearl.
Oh, literally. It's called.
Yes.
Okay.
I am not very well versed in this, but I have some working knowledge of it.
Okay.
Interesting. What would the
If you got one,
inspection?
send me one.
What would the inspection entail if you did do an inspection for solar? Is that just like
It was actually fairly straightforward. We're looking at the physical panels to make sure there's no like broken glass, so to speak.
Yeah.
Underneath the panel to see if it's a clean install. There shouldn't be a bunch of wires and crap hanging down. They should all be neatly tucked because the way he put it, that's the difference between a 20-year installation and a 50-year installation is if all the wiring is accessible to ice and snow and all that kind of stuff. And then there is actually like just checking the equipment on the side of the house, like what type of inverter is there, and then taking a reading off of like getting to the wiring, taking a reading off of it and seeing if it's actually producing electricity. I think that was the basics. It's
So
not
cool.
super involved. I think it would be valuable to just like, cause I can't tell you how many times I've wondered like, how does anybody know if this thing's working? And then I've
Yeah.
heard people say like, my electric bill is still
yeah.
$300-400. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what are those things doing up there?
Yeah.
So-
Are they doing anything? No,
and
I don't know.
I can see a consumer or one of my buyers. I can totally see it. Say, well, what about the solar? Like just being down at the electric panel with the I don't know.
Panel cover off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, no, but with the when the solar piece
Yes.
is right next
Yep.
to it, or the solar panel or whatever, and man was like, "That's just solar," and we walk by it.
Yeah.
Well, what is it doing? And
I don't know.
people just think that solar is just doing what it's supposed to. So I think actually, I think it would be probably beneficial. You know what's been big with a lot of my clients is pests right now.
Oh, interesting.
Pests has been huge.
What type?
So you know those tunnels you see outside, all
Yeah.
around the outside of your house,
like moles.
well, you think it's moles.
Oh,
It's not moles.
how come our best guy didn't talk about this?
So
Mm.
this has been a big thing for a lot of my clients. They want to know. Of course, now you can see the stuff, but you don't. And it's probably more activity right now, but you don't see in the wintertime. You know, you don't see all that. But right now, everyone's getting ready for hibernation or whatever.
Right.
But mice, rats, they're all like digging out moles, and like they look like moles, but they're not moles.
You're talking about the little bumps in the grass that look like little
No,
trails.
No, we're talking tunnels underneath. Like you can see tunnels all around your house.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Like an entry hole.
we did hear from Mark, the
Yeah.
other Mark, when he came, that there
Yes.
has been an uptick, especially in larger rodents, which
Yeah.
was very
Yeah,
interesting.
I've heard this. I've seen
But-
some evidence of
But
it
there's
too.
been
It's
a
gross.
lot of talk about it because just a lot of my clients, I think I shared this. I was going through a house to list and I was downstairs and there was this drip coming down from the
Oh,
ceiling.
God.
And I was like, what is it? And I looked up and I looked down and it was red. I was like, oh.
Wow.
And there was something that died in the ceiling. So I think that it's just been a little bit of an uptick that I've noticed. We live in the country.
Yeah.
And they cause a lot of damage. You know, just like mice get into your car and cause electrical damage, they
Mhm.
can do damage inside your house and
Oh,
your
yeah.
walls if you're not
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've
maintaining
seen
your
them
home
chew
properly.
wires and all kinds of wonderful things, you know.
But if you don't know about it and you find out later, if you have this odor that you're smelling or something like that, you don't know what this is.
Yeah.
You're just thinking mold or whatever you're thinking, but it can be those little critters. So
100%.
critters have been a big thing right now lately. Maybe just because of the time of year. I don't know, but
I don't
critters
know.
have been big.
Can I switch gears for a second?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. So we know during COVID, the real estate market got crazy, especially here in central Massachusetts. And home inspections went kind of out the door for a lot of consumers because there was so much cash coming into our marketplace and so many people not negotiating that into, you know, their terms of their sale or purchase.
I recall.
A little bit. Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
some vague recollection of this.
Okay. You got to enjoy your kids a little bit more during
Yeah,
that
a little
time.
bit, maybe even more than I wanted to.
Okay, there we
I
go.
saw some makeup in that.
but they've been back
Yeah.
more recently.
This year's been pretty good.
Yeah, we've seen between us tons of negotiations, properties coming back on market, some sellers still not updating or maintaining their home as well as they should be. So you've seen this uptick too. How often are you getting repeat clients in terms of they go on an inspection with you and a month later they're on another inspection with you?
It feels like it's kind of back to normal with that.
Okay.
Like some people are walking.
Yeah.
They feel like, I think my sense is that they feel like they have a little bit more power again.
Yeah.
You know,
They
they're not
definitely
willing to
do.
just
100%.
get
100%.
a total dump crammed down
Yeah.
their throat like they would have the previous 2 years.
Yes.
I felt like people were just taking what they could get.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was really sad to watch because it was like, man,
It's heartbreaking.
when you've seen it the other way, when you've
Yes.
seen a buyer's market,
Yeah.
when you could just,
You can't give a house away.
yeah, like, dude, if you don't want to sell me this house, I'll just go buy your neighbors.
And just
That's
be
fun
fair.
for buyers.
And like, let's just be fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be fair.
Yeah. People weren't cleaning their houses.
No.
They were just selling total dumps.
Yeah.
And people were buying them. They couldn't buy them fast enough. Yeah. That's changing, thankfully.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Enough where it feels like they've got some level of control back. It's normalizing a bit.
That's good.
We're not back to like,
No, and I think affordability is playing a factor in that because we still have seen prices go up here in Massachusetts. And so consumers are stretched more than ever. And then when they go into a home and it still needs so much repair, they're like, yeah, wait a second, this has got to work a little bit. Are you expecting an uptick in inspections now with the Massachusetts state laws changing?
I have no idea what to expect from that.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if it really has any teeth.
No, I don't think. So here's my take on that. I don't know if it's going to either because I still think there's a lot of people not doing a home inspection because of the price of a home inspection. Honestly, I don't even quote. I have no idea what it's going to be, the price, but I have a lot of buyers that will say, no, I'm not going to bother it. We have people in our family that are in the trade. And if something comes up, we'll get it fixed. But it's amazing. But I think it's a 50-50 shot what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I still think people are not doing it because they're not going to win the offer. They're doing it because they don't want to spend the money at the time. They just want to get going on it. They just want to own a house. It's a different thought process, I feel.
Do you think there's just a new generation of like buyer mentality?
Oh, there's definitely
It's the DIYers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's the definite.
But the reality of the situation is the things that get uncovered at least will give you a punch list and a direction of what needs to happen so that you can keep your value.
I remember going through all the home inspections. Every time your buyer, got an offer accepted, and everyone came out with like their book. And I have clients that still say, "No, let me go pull out my book," or the pamphlet or something, and then go back and say, "Oh no, see, the home inspector picked this out." Like Bill, remember Bill? Yeah,
of course.
And actually, they would say, "Oh yeah, that was one of the things we haven't fixed that yet, but right there, it's one of our list things." So I think it would be good because I think then people come back to ownership pride. I think ownership pride went away.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
My God.
So I feel like if we had somebody just started getting sellers asking me, should I have a home inspection done on the property, in advance? And part of me is like, think so, because the difference is the people that have maintained their home for 30, 35 years, they've got top quality, no box company stuff. It's all like, and the same plumber for 30 years knows exactly inside and out. Everything's labeled nice and clean, fresh, to the one that has been sold several times throughout its time it's been built. Yeah. I think those properties, maybe a quick once over is going to be important.
Yeah,
I do.
For me, as I talk to my customers about affordability and the prices that they're paying, I stress to them so much the importance of a home inspection, because if they're already at the top end of their budget every single month, what's going to happen when the roof has to get replaced? What's going to happen when the heating system has an issue? And I just think that for the amount of money that you do spend up front for that, it's critical knowledge that you're not going to get from somebody who just, is a handyman.
It's not hard to find a pile of $10,000 problems in a house.
Yeah.
Like it's not that hard. It happens all the time. For me, it's like, just know what you're buying. It's just like having a clear understanding of what you're purchasing is where the value is. And sometimes there are those like knockout kind of problems where you're just like, dude, I never saw that coming.
Yeah.
But there's also oftentimes it's just maintenance stuff, right? You come away, people shouldn't be scared, like, what am I going to find in this house? Like, or come with the brain set of, I'm going to get the inspection because I'm going to find everything so I can drop the price.
Yeah,
it's not about that.
And that doesn't happen in our marketplace.
That's not the reality of the market, but
it's not even just the market. Sometimes these houses, it's like, you've said it all the time. These are maintenance things. These are maintenance, follow up, see if they had this maintenance done. There's so much maintenance on a property that I think that if you focus on that, then you're going to get their ownership pride again. So like you let's just use an easy one, heating system. Let's just find out when the last time they had it serviced.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Right. So if they're servicing regularly, of course something can go wrong. But if they're servicing regularly, then it's being looked at regularly. It should be okay for now. Is it old? Yeah, it's old.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's working.
Right. So I think there's a fear still, a little bit of the home inspection, especially from sellers. Like, what are they going to find? I go, well, what do you think they're going to find? Because if you haven't been maintaining your house, they're going to find it.
Yeah.
That was the other point I wanted to make. Why I think people should get inspections is like most people don't know what's wrong with their house.
No.
They're not looking, or in the nooks and crannies, and they may not know what they're looking at. So it's like most of the time when we find major defects, nobody knew. It's not that they were being hidden.
No.
It's that nobody knew. I would want to know that walking in, and I do think that's part of the difference on where people are less likely to obtain home inspections. I think in more affluent areas where if someone's spending, $1 to $2 million on a house, they're buying cash or, they got a significant chunk of change. And I think those folks are in a different position to take a hit on an unknown problem than your average person who's like at the top end of their budget and they can't afford that $10,000 problem, that $20,000 problem. Like that could break them, so it depends. Depends on who's buying the house.
Interesting.
Of course, I think everybody should get one, but like that, I know that's not realistic.
Yeah.
I think it's, I think it should be an intelligent choice though. And it should be a free choice. I also think a lot of the waived home inspections was purely market driven.
Oh, 100%. And out of such desperation to find something.
Yeah.
Because the inventory has been so critically low here.
Yep. And as the market corrects, we're noticing that home inspections are correcting as well. Like those things go hand in hand. Which is why, I don't know what effect a law is going to have on that, because that's just the nature of the beast. When people are like fighting over a house, they're going to do whatever it takes. Yeah.
And at least the consumer, the buyer, has the right now to make that decision and not have to use it as a negotiating tool. That's what I'm looking forward. Even if they have to borrow the money to have the inspection done, it's just so important. And now that can't be taken away, which I think is good.
That seems like awful tight finances to be buying a house.
Yeah, but we see it all the time.
Really?
We see it all the time. I've sat at closing tables where people have showed up and they're like, we didn't know we had to bring this extra $1,500. We didn't know this. We didn't know that. And I don't know where the disconnect is coming in the discussion. But we're really at this critical level in Massachusetts when you just look at the amount that people are spending. That's why at the beginning you said, I've learned to live within my means. I think that's such an important statement that more people need to embrace.
Yeah. I look around at people I know, people I love who aren't doing that. And I know what it feels like not to do that. This constant gnawing in your stomach where it's like you're in debt. You don't have enough money to cover everything. It's like not living that way feels.
But you still got your Netflix and your HBO and all these things that you don't really need.
Turns out you don't need that much. It's like having your head above water feels way better than having stuff. It just does. Having free time feels way better than having stuff.
Yeah.
It just does. But I don't think that message is really clear until you're there.
Yeah.
Until you have to experience it and go, oh, you know what? I didn't need all that crap.
All right. So a couple of things just to learn a little bit about you.
Oh, joy.
And then we will wrap this. This was a great,
slightly mischievous look when you said that.
No.
I'm
just
crossing my arms. And
I love this
preparing.
because Sarah caught me off guard one day. So, what's your favorite season?
Oh man, that's tough. Summer is the one I feel most strongly about when it goes away. I get on the end of summer blues. I already went through it. I go through it every year.
It just
can't
ended
stand
this
it.
week.
I know.
Technically, it did. Technically, it did.
My goodness.
You're talking about like on the calendar,
Yeah.
it just ended. But
Yeah.
I felt it as soon as the cool air came in, and I knew my kids were going back to school. It was probably a week before they went back to school. I was just kind of depressed for a week.
Yeah.
I was
And
just
people
like,
get like that in September. What's your favorite pastime with your kids?
probably camping.
Yeah.
We do a lot of that. It's when we all have equally nothing to do. We have no obligations beyond
That's awesome.
doing whatever we're doing. I
Forced
like it for
family
the kids
fun.
too, because man, they get that like being in a campground as a kid with
Mhm.
a bike is
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like how we grew up.
Yeah.
You know, like they have a lot more freedom than they would in an average neighborhood now where
Mhm.
nobody's outside. When I
Mhm.
walk around my neighborhood, there's no kids out. There's no
Mhm.
bikes riding around, like very few compared to when I was a kid where we would just take off for the day.
Mhm.
So like when they're at a campground, I'm just seeing hordes of kids on bikes and they have some freedom.
Mhm.
They take a walkie-talkie with them and they can go
Love it.
and hang out.
Be outside all
You know,
day.
it's awesome. Yeah, and they don't even think twice about it.
I thought you were
It's
going to
just-
say that you like the tea party makeup that your daughter puts all over your face because
I-
I've seen that.
You might have seen that published.
I did.
Yeah, they like to do dad's hair a bit.
I love it.
They're pretty good at
Yeah,
it.
I love it. I love
Yep.
So
But I
out of the
wouldn't-
17 jobs that you've had in your
Yeah.
life, what are your top 3?
it. Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So the one I got, I was, man, that's tough because I got a lot out of certain things that weren't fun or particularly like profitable. I learned a lot fixing cars,
Yeah.
oddly enough. Like I was an ASC certified mechanic and I went down that rabbit hole knowing that wasn't going to be like my career for the rest
Right.
of my life. I was just really interested to know how those damn things work.
Yeah.
You know, it
Kind of like
takes,
that time you went to go learn how timber frames were built.
Yeah, I mean that's like continuing ed on steroids.
Totally.
Super awesome. I was just reflecting on that because it was about a year ago. While I was at that conference,
Yeah.
the memories that were popping up from a year ago were
Yeah.
from timber framing. I'm like, man, that was so much better than sitting in a conference. That was super cool. Like that job wasn't easy or fun, but I got a lot out of it that I still carry with me. From learning how to diagnose things on the fly, like learning how to think about how to figure out a problem.
Yep.
There's certain things that just kind of mold you
Yeah.
as an individual. So that job was very useful for that. And I still know the guys I worked with. Like it's kind of cool
That's cool.
to still have those relationships. Selling wine keeps popping into my head. I had this like terrible job.
You were like Gary V.
Gary V.
He's a that's
I'm
a
the
whole
worst with pop culture.
That's a whole
Like,
other conversation. But
Okay.
he is a very influential wine seller.
should I know who this is? Do you know who this is?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know what she's talking about.
Okay, but
It's
you
okay.
sold wine?
So
I can't even picture that.
this was a straight up. So I had moved across the country on my own. I bought an old
VW.
like box truck.
Okay.
Well, I had too much stuff.
Okay.
If I had gone when I originally wanted to go, I would have gone in my Firebird by myself. But by the time I actually left Leominster, I had acquired a whole giant toolbox full of tools and all this crap. And I had this crazy idea that I was just going to keep all my stuff. I was a little pack rat. So I needed a much bigger vehicle than a Firebird to pack rat all my stuff. And I didn't know where I was going to land. So I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to need. So I'm just going to take every possession I had. So I ended up with this like 1985 Dodge box truck that I got for $1,500 in Rhode Island, and it needed some work.
But you're a mechanic, so you know how to
Right.
fix
Oh,
it.
wow.
Exactly. I can work
handle
on it.
this, right? So I fixed that damn thing in almost every state that I passed through.
Oh,
Something
my
broke on
goodness.
that truck,
That's a
man.
beautiful memory, though.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah. Some of them were kind of
Remember
cool.
that time I was in Texarkana?
Remember it was snowing in New Mexico and you're doing an exhaust manifold.
Mm.
Lovely memories.
Lovely.
I ended up like I was camping all over the country, and I got to the other ocean, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. I walked
Mhm.
through a mall in San Diego that didn't have a roof, and I was like, man, they don't need roofs. this must be an interesting place. Like, that's kind of cool. So I stuck there for a while. And once I decided I was sticking around, I started looking for employment. And I had a bartending background. I also liked booze. So I was like, okay, I see this ad for this wine broker. And I'm going, how bad could that be? That sounds kind of cool. I was also looking for sales experience. I did not have sales experience. And I was in the habit of using jobs to learn things.
Right.
So like, this is a habit that had come early in my life.
It's like the most beautiful life lesson. I hope you're teaching that to your children, because people don't think like that anymore, Mark.
I don't know. Like, I'm teaching them more of the entrepreneur stuff than like doing 17 jobs that don't really fit you. You know, like that was not swimming against the current. I think one of my lessons from doing that was swimming against the current for like 20 years was not necessarily the smartest way to do that. So I'm going to try to condense that down and teach them how to do it a little smarter than I did.
Okay.
But I did get a lot from it.
That's very Gary V-ish.
Who is this Gary V guy, man?
Anyway, go on.
Send me this book. So the ad sounded cool. And I think one of the most important skills in business is selling, but it's a hard skill to like understand until you actually get thrown in the trenches and do it. So I wanted that experience. And I did not realize this was a phone sales job. I would have never.
You don't do phone.
Never replied to that ad. They don't put that in the ad. So they bring you in for a couple of days of training, which means you're drinking
the cougar juice.
Best bottles of juice from around the globe. And this is how they're training me. Like, here, try this. Here, try this. Here, try this. It's like, whoa, dude, I had no idea. Like, I had served wine. I drank a little bit, but I had no idea where all these flavors were coming from in the world and why they existed. So I'm just enjoying the hell out of this experience. So this is like 2 days, and the whole 2 days I can hear this ruckus through the wall that is the sales floor. And I don't really know what's going on. They still haven't really told us. Dude, when they released us, they trained a whole group of us. And it turns out, I'll give you the short version. Turns out they had to train people, a group, like, I don't know, there must have been 10 of us. They had to put those ads out there and train 10 people every 2 weeks because everybody just quit. Like, it was the worst.
The numbers.
There was you ever see Boiler Room where they're selling stocks? It was like that, where there's just open sales floor, a bunch of desks. And they put the newbies right in the middle of all the experienced brokers who are yelling into their phones and throwing stuff. And
buy now,
dude, they had voice canceller, or what do they call it? That's not the right word, but like noise canceling microphones on these old phones, big heavy old phones. That's all that was on the desk. There was no computers. There was nothing to do except make phone calls. So they gave us a little stack of leads, and you just dialed and read the script, and the script was awful. Yeah. So like, you could spend all day just making 200-300 phone calls, people just telling you to go F yourself, one after another, until somebody finally talks to you. And then you're supposed to get like coached through the call. And I mean, I hated it. I hated it so much because I was the kid my parents gave the phone to mess with the person who called us. Like, it went against my grain to like bug people in the middle of their day and try to sell them something. But I'm like, well, you wanted the experience, so suck it up, buttercup. So it took me 6 months, straight commission, making no money. Like, I was starving. No, I had nothing left in the bank account. I'm like, oh my God. And I finally turned the corner and started clicking away at like getting people to listen to me and connecting. There's a weird thing you can do over the phone that I did not know existed. It's a very human thing. You can actually make a connection over the phone with certain people. When certain people would pick up the phone, I would just know that this person will talk to me if I say the right things and just be genuine with them. Not necessarily following the damn script. More like, but get it done. They knew why you were calling. They just wanted to go through the process in a way that worked. So sure enough, I started making real money doing commission sales over the phone, selling wine that nobody ever heard of. This stuff was not stuff you could buy in a store. Nobody ever heard of it. And we were only sold by the case. So imagine somebody calls you and is like, I want you to buy a case of wine. You know, like, what are you talking about? And like, and it's not cheap. We didn't sell cheap wine. So yeah, that's basically how I got, that was one of the more interesting jobs because it taught me a skill that again went completely against my grain. It made me really anxious to sit there and do it. But man, there's no other way to pick up certain skills. But to just dive in and do something kind of nuts, you know?
That's so cool.
It's wild. It was a good couple of years. met some really interesting people. And then moved on. The next sales gig I got was way easier. It made everything seem easier after you've done that for a couple years.
Yeah.
Everything got easier.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool too. Challenging yourself, I think, makes the next thing just easier.
Yeah.
Conversations come easier. You're not worried about someone saying no to you.
Yeah. And not being afraid to make mistakes.
Oh yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Failure is so valuable. So valuable.
We could have like 5 or 6 podcasts with him.
I know.
All different topics.
I've asked him every single week since we started.
Yeah. So
we could totally do that.
Okay. We're totally doing
When
that.
I see the lights on, I'll just stop. I enjoy this. This is cool. I feel like I ought to
Mark,
be next time I'm interrogating you guys.
Oh,
like
well,
that would be fine. You could be in your hot seat.
We can do
We
that.
got that.
That's not a problem. Thank you again. Thank you for coming. Yeah, we definitely need to get together again. We thank you. I'm Lana from Coldwell Banker in Leominster. And Mark, where do they find you for home inspections?
WachussetInspection.com is the best place to find me.
Yep.
The website answers most people's questions. I don't pick up my phone a lot. It's usually on silent. But
it's very easy to book online.
100% that is the place to book. It's the only place to book.
Okay.
But if you have questions, just shoot me a text. That's the best way to reach me personally. And we're usually booked out about a week. So it's smart to get right on top of that if you're buying a house, to just do that as quick as possible.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm Sara Lyman with the Hometown Team.
So please subscribe. Let us know any topics that you're interested in. Maybe you want to be on our podcast. Love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening, and join in on the next one. See you.
Bye.